Dear friends, hello, my dear friends. Best greetings from Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine. My name is Dr. Viktor Fursov. I'm a research entomologist, beekeeper, and scientist and teacher. And this is my channel about entomology, about science of insects, about nature, about beekeeping, about education, and about Ukraine as well. Because now I'm in Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine, and many things now just going on around and inside Ukraine connecting about not only about nature but about people, about society, and many things are pretty strange and disgusting. But nevertheless, I should start about from the news from Ukraine, and then we will be following to news about insects in Ukraine. For instance, insects in the culture. So I prepared some videos with cultures of insects, so I will present them for you. But what about news in Ukraine? Yes, I woke up morning time, maybe 6 o'clock, with signal of air raid alert. Yes, it was a sign that our crazy neighbors, I mean Russia, sent some missiles to Ukraine, and it was quite strange because the message was that they're coming through our borders from the south and from the east, so unexpected the soon. So in unknown time because they are spreading all around the Ukraine. So and then I slept again, and approximately at 9 o'clock I woke up a second time because it was one explosion, then a second explosion, and our anti-aircraft system was doing pretty well, shooting these missiles or maybe drones down. So because some crazy Iranian drones, so small aircrafts without pilots, drones, they were flying also to Ukraine, making some damages. So it was quite unclear how many of them were coming, what time were coming new one. It was still the time of air raid alert till 1 o'clock. So all transportation was stopped. People spread all around the city in some hidden places where possible. Where possible. Where is possible, just go out to the hidden place. If it is not possible, refuge is not visible somewhere around. So to metro or just go behind the door, behind the kitchen. So 2 explosions, at least in my region, was pretty not visible, but I heard it very well because sound is spreading. So and finally it was message that something was shut down and some explosions were in somewhere around. And after that, in the evening time, was the official message in news that approximately 47 missiles and drones were shot down in our Kyiv city region, but more were spread around in other regions of Ukraine. 47 drones were shot down, and maybe 5 just fell down and made some destruction in our infrastructure. Fortunately, our aircraft defense system were working very well because majority of all these crazy drones were shot down and crazy missiles, and all just civilians could do nothing, just go to a metro station or just some hidden place, refuge if it is possible. If not possible, sit down, drink a tea just behind the wall and behind the kitchen, and just praying for the safety. They are crazy, really. So everything is possible and everything is impossible. Well, but finally became quiet. But one day before was the same situation because they sent also these crazy drones in night time till the morning time. So the situation with air alert were during the half of night, as well as half of morning, half of day, for several hours. Well, what's about insects? Insects, this is a more pleasant idea, pleasant subject to talk about it in any time, all the time, about insects, about invertebrates, about crustaceans. I do not have just honeybees in my home because they're sleeping inside beehives outside of houses, in beehives and hidden places somewhere in beekeeping farm. But I have some other invertebrates. I did some video for that and I will present it. So you can recognize what is this system, what are these animals. Yes, yes, these beetles. These are beetles. I know who is nearby around, near beetles, something like a yellow creatures. Yes, these are beetles too, but these are not adults. These are pupae. These are pupae. And who are these adults? These adults are very common commonly breeding beetles, mealworm beetles, but not the big one. Mealworm not from the genus Tenebrio. This is from genus Ulomoides, Ulomoides desmestoides. Sometimes it's called like a healer beetle, or medicine beetle. And who is this yellow one just on the right side? This is a larval stage of a beetle, larva. So larva is active, just crawling around in searching for food. Pupa just can move a little bit with some spines on both sides for self-protection, because you see larva is coming, larva sometimes can destroy unprotected pupa, because larva is coming, can eat dead adults, some adults already dead, because she's searching for food, can eat cereals or just dry bread in this jar. And you see some a little bit movement of pupa moving a little bit, trying to protect. And there is our skins. Just after the molting of this larvae can molt about 6-7 times during the life cycle, and then final life stage will be pupa, and from pupa after about 10-14 days will be hatching adult beetle. This beetle, which is belonging to the family Tenebrionidae. And what is doing this right on the right side of the beetle? Just searching for another beetle? No, probably just trying to recognize by smell that another beetle alive or not alive, and try to feed on them, because this is for some beetles very common situation. This is cannibalism, when big larvae can eat small larvae, and some beetles, stronger beetles, can eat weaker beetles. That's all just dead bodies of beetles to receive some proteins. You see here again on the picture, this is yellow larva and many beetles, the same Ulomoides, dermistoides, family Tenebrionidae, or in terminology, word mealworm beetles, or darkling beetles. Mealworm because they are eating very often different cereals and producing these worms, mealworm beetles, or just on artificial meal, for instance, for pets, for dog pets. They can eat cats pets food, home can eat very well, but also can eat egg, cereals, dry bread, some apples, some dry fruits in captivity, in culture. And here again, these are pupae of different colors, even some pupae with visible blackish eyes. Just you can recognize segmentation, and you can recognize the head and two black eyes of pupa, and some shells of skin shells from the larvae, from a smaller larvae, which are becoming a bigger larvae size. So these beetles are very easy for keeping in captivity of their culture and can be used either for feeding some pets like ants in formicariums, just some small lizards, chameleons, maybe some frogs in captivity in aquarium, and also sometimes can be used for healing human beings for some diseases, but this is questionable. Sometimes quite easy to keep not only beetles, but some invertebrates can be easily kept in captivity. This is not insect. In my third video I show this is not insect. This is something strange. This creature has many legs, two antennae like bee, two antennae, moving antenna. Yes, this is antenna. It changed. Legs became antennae. But what's about creature? Who are this creature? This creature is quite funny. This is not insect. These are not insects because many of them in the culture. It's quite easy to find them somewhere in leaf litter, in a garden, in orchard, in your backyard or place, somewhere between leaves and between fallen leaves in leaf litter, because these are woodlices. Woodlices, so they are close to another arthropods, another like crustaceans. They're more close to crabs. And you see number of legs, not 6 legs like in insects, but more legs, about 10, 11 pairs of legs. And you've seen just these are gray color and one was just very light because they are growing. This is already big size. Biggest size for these creatures approximately 10 millimeters, like a nail. And this is a small one, small, just a larva. And who are this yellowish one? This is not another species. This is the same species, but after molting. When they are molting, we taking off the skin, and this creature becoming darker, but dark shell going out, and so the creature becoming much lighter for a certain period of time because this is surface is done from heating, and heating should be hardening. This is the same procedure like molting for larvae or for insects, or just molting, for instance, or just emergence of a beetle from the pupa. Certain period of time, beetle will be very, very light. So the same wood lice is very light for short period, maybe 1-2 days, will be very light with very light color. They have visible head part with head with some eyes in a group, united in groups, pretty close segmentations, and polyroly. They have another name, polybugs. Some species they like to make to just like a ball. If you are taking them in hands, they're trying to be protected, especially larvae. This bigger size wood lices, they do not make balls, but smaller size easily can make a ball. If you touch them, they're making a ball. So they attach legs together, and for protection, they're making a kind of ball and becoming moveless for a short period of time, for a few seconds. So you will forget about them, and so they will be running very fast again in some hidden places between leaves or between cracks of some stones, because they're living sometimes near the stones, hiding very well under the stones. So these are crustaceans, wood lices, or polybelly, polybugs. Very funny creatures, and very easy to keep them in captivity and to observe them. Today I use my camera to made approximately half of screen size with woodlicesor. So I will show them maybe next videos as well, because they're very funny to put them on the back. Just I can try to show it again. When I put them on the back, I try to turn around and more, so you can see how many legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pairs of legs. 7 pairs of legs. And they are interesting because they have on the near the tail, the female usually keeping some eggs and carrying them for protection. And even just when small larvae hatching, the female is carrying small babies together just on abdomen, on the belly for a short period. And then the small babies just spreading around in a litter, in a cage, or just in an original litter in a garden. So these are creatures which I wanted to show you for today, originally in a video. If this system is working very well, so I can try to show some others, because sometimes server becoming overloaded and video becoming frozen. So if it is working now, I can try to take another video from my stock and show you again. I do not have special presentation, but I have stock of video. So I select a video from my folder and will upload it on a screen, and so you can see it together with me. Collection, I have here some collections of video files. Which one I can show you? Which one? This one. Very well known.
Формой головы, можно сказать, такой.
So who are these? This is a very interesting, and this is a head of a creature from a family Chrysopidae, from a order Neuroptera. Chrysopidae, predaceous insect with well-developed mandibles and well-developed eyes. So searching for aphids, for sucking aphids, and has a well-developed on the top of video of a tree with his antenna and eyes to recognize the prey very well. Chrysopidae, Chrysopa carnea, or another species. I take another video file. This whole insect is well known. People like it very much. Always enjoy it. Yeah. Here we see just a bumblebee, the bumblebee of a species Bombus terrestris, or ground beetle, bumblebee, which is feeding on a drop of honey on a flower. Just I dropped a small drop of a flower, and honeybee just spread the tongue, or scientific name proboscis, or the tongue for feeding. So that's why this is not a special stick. This is not a sting, because it's just spreading from between mandibles. This is tongue or proboscis, which are used for feeding, for drinking the liquid of a nectar or just a honey. Because honeybees and bumblebees were collecting nectar from flowers using proboscis and tongue as a collecting nectar tool and bringing it to their nests. So take another one. This one is good predator. So who is this predator? You can recognize very well known insect. Who is this insect? Yes, this insect is a dragonfly. This insect is dragonfly. Why this dragonfly is interesting? Because this dragonfly were flying in a city, so this is urban species, came to my apartment place in this summer. I collected it, and this butterfly, not this butterfly, this dragonfly laid eggs in captivity. Usually many species of dragonflies lay eggs under the water, inside the water. We just drop eggs on the water and they're just falling down. But some species lay eggs inside stems of plants. So this species, but if you keep an insect in cage, in many cases some beetles, butterflies, even dragonflies can just drop down, females will drop down the eggs from their body, because in this unpredictable situation they lay eggs even in captivity. So this dragonfly lay eggs round like a small balls, and they usually in this shape of eggs. This dragonfly lay eggs just inside the water, but in captivity laid even in a dry jar. And I recorded this situation. So I kept the dragonfly in open box in a jar. She was flying a little bit and then understood that she's in a captivity. She just dropped eggs in this jar. So I can show you next insect. And this will be not insect. This will be not insect. Some people can recognize it, or maybe nobody knows who is this. Dmitry should know this creature, because this creature is living on honeybees. Yes, this creature was living on honeybees, and I made this video just under the microscope because the size of this creature about 2 or 3 millimeters, and this is Varroa mite, honeybee mite, a small mite which is living on the body of honeybees, which is traveling, to be precise, on the body of honeybees. So this female sitting on the hairs of honeybees, traveling from one place to another place, from one beehive to another beehive, from one beehive cells to another beehive cells, searching for larvae inside the cell, laying eggs, and small larvae of Varroa mite will be feeding on larvae of honeybees. So this is a very dangerous pest of beehives. And here quite visible 4 pairs of legs, but small larvae, it's quite interesting, but small larvae of Varroa mite has just 3 pairs of legs. When small larvae, they are not so brown, they're usually whitish, white color, smaller, less than 1 millimeter, and when they are growing, becoming like a plate about 2-3 millimeters size, and going out of a cell of a beehive, of a honeybees, taking on the body, crawling on the body of honeybees, and then moving inside beehive to find a free space or free cell with a larva, and just infesting the larva. And usually in many cases the larva is going to be die, or larva, because Varroa mite not only sucking the larva of a honeybee, but also transmitting as a vector, transmitting different virus diseases. For instance, wingless virus disease, when almost adult of a bee honeybee will be without legs or with deformated wings. So virus of deformation of honeybee's wings, virus of deformation. And this is deformation of, so this is a disease, deformation of wings of honeybees, is usually transmitted by Varroa mites. And about more than 10 different viruses can be transmitted by this very dangerous mite, Varroa mite. More than 10 virus diseases. So we can show it next one. So this is next one. Next video will be about something else. If system is not overloaded, so we can, well, this one, well-known insect. Many people enjoy them very much. So who are these? Who are these? This is predator eating something, eating mealworm. And you can identify it quite easily because very famous insect, and this is Mantis. Mantis religiosa, species widespread in Europe and in Asia. And many species of its family Mantidae are distributed all around the world. Mantis are predator, by no phytophagous mantis. No phytophagous Mantidae. Predator, it means usually feeding on the body of another arthropods and other insects. Here, this female is eating not the mealworm, eating the body of a night moth in captivity. I collected mantis near the shop at evening time in August, because in August time they are just spreading from the natural conditions inside the city. Very often spent in August time in Kyiv, and they are flying to the light, easily to be collected near the lights, near exposition windows, expo windows of shops. And they're just falling down because they're not flying, they're too heavy. But they can fly for short distances. If they fall down, they're crawling and fly again, like a partially flying, partially crawling, and partially just jumping. So, and then finally they're sitting somewhere near the light, near shops. So quite easy to collect them and observe in August time, even in the city. Even some new species of Mantis, Mantidae family, or Mantis religiosa, or another species, appeared in more distant areas, and they spread to the north from the southern places of normal distribution. So next one. Okay, next one. I can show this is a butterfly, one of the species of butterflies of family Neuroptera, which is usually appearing also in August time, in August and September, with this red and black stripes. So Neuroptera of a genus Catocala, striped, nice red striped moth. Very nice and pretty big size, so approximately up to, with spread wings, about 5-6 centimeters. So quite big one. When it's closing the wings, it's practically invisible. So we have this species has a very good decoration on the wings, like a bark of trees. So eating a caterpillar usually leaves of poplars in a city, and moths are also after emerging sitting during the daytime on the bark of trees, and practically invisible because of this lovely decoration, mimic, which is called mimicry. Mimicry, just to the bark of a tree to become invisible. Okay. And maybe last one, but not the least, but not the last. And the least. So I show you next one, which will be okay. These bees I showed during the springtime. So this is usually during in springtime. Usually because sometimes possible to keep the culture in captivity and then hatch out and emerge in a winter time. If you're keeping the culture, the bees can be heated and they can emerge from the nest. But here we see down on the screen, this is a female with big head, and on the female there is a male. And this is Osmia bees, solitary bees, and female down again, or Osmia carnota with like horns on the head on the face of a body. Again, big one, big individual. This is a female, and small one on the top. This is a male with longer antennae. This is moving antennae before mating, trying to make communication with the female. Osmia rufa and Osmia carnota, two species which are widely spread in Europe and in Ukraine. Easy to collect them, and easy here. This is second. This is carnota, and first one Osmia rufa with a reddish color. So this is Osmia rufa. Again, small one on the top. This is male, and big one. This is a female. Easy to make small nests for them. They're not stinging like honeybees, so that's why they're often used as a pollinator in greenhouses. Easy to collect a lot of old plants with holes in the stems, or just made a holes artificial in a wood, and create special like a bee hotel, which is called as a bee hotel. I can show them later. I can show you just even now this bee hotel. I have video. So, and this bee hotel is attracting females to create a nest. Males will be only mating outside of this bee hotel, but females attracted by the hole will come inside the hole and bring in pollen and nectar, creating the nest. So larvae will be developing and overwintering inside bee hotel. So it's easy to make such a solitary bee, Osmia bee culture. So very much easier rather than honeybees colonies. And finally, I show you this is bee hotel, artificial hotel for these bees. If I started to talk about them, so better to show immediately now. Well, this one. This is a big open bee hotel. This is a wood with holes. Two parts can be attached together in one place with holes. Open, you see, one part with holes, hotel with holes, and second part with holes. And inside these are old nests I open in the wintertime for cleaning, because inside there are some pollen balls, and also some cocoons. And all bees were already in winter time inside cocoons, but important to put them in a temperate, in a cool place, not with a warm place, less than 15 degrees centigrade, temperature. So if you keep the cocoons in a warm temperature, like in a house 20 Celsius degree, we will hatch in the winter time and die. So we cannot survive during the winter in a box for feeding. We can survive just in a cool temperature inside cocoons. Cocoons here on the right part of the screen. These are some cocoons and some yellow balls here because larvae were damaged by parasites, some small flies which attacked larvae and killed the larvae. So larvae didn't survive. I show you again on a bigger screen. So this is artificial nest for these osmia bees, solitary bees or carpenter bees. So again here, yellow places here, not eaten pollen. On the left side, for instance, the ball with destroyed larvae. But here brown color, this is cocoons. These are cocoons with some feces. Black color points, these are feces after production of a cocoon. This is outside of cocoon. But inside of each of these cocoon, there is a bee inside. Here some more brown, like a dark brown, and yellow brown places. Here just some feces of flies, parasitic flies. We were eating all balls of pollen, destroyed the larvae, and only produced the pupa of flies, many pupa of flies. So they were already pupated in summer, not in summer, in autumn, winter time, and it will hatch again in spring. And here, because all this nest was in a warm place, some adults hatched, and you can see on the last second here was coming. I can repeat again. On the top was coming adult, this solitary bee osmia, male, small one, and with a big antenna. So that's why I collected all cocoons and put them outside on a balcony in a cool place, to stop their emergence. So this is interesting species of not honeybee but solitary bee, Osmia cornuta, Osmia rufa, which can be easily used for breeding in artificial nests or bee hotels, easy for observation, and some people even making some business by selling these small tubes with cocoons, or just opening these beehives and collecting cocoons and selling cocoons for farmers which are using alfalfa farming, or just for greenhouses, because this solitary bee will hatch in springtime, will pollinate maybe tomatoes or cucumbers in the greenhouses, and making nests in artificial nests if you put some stems with holes inside the greenhouses. So well, they find, but the advantage that they are not stinging, and so they are not irritating for workers who are working in the greenhouses. So they are beneficial in pollination and very beneficial, not stinging. So very careful for people inside greenhouses. So you can take the bee, just even try to press the bottom abdomen of the bee with, and so the bee, even female, does not sting. But try to sting, to be precise, but the sting is very small, cannot penetrate the skin of hand, even hand, which is harder usually, but not stinging so much. Maybe for a lady can sting the skin through the skin of lady, or just somewhere on very soft skin of the hand, maybe. But usually cannot penetrate. So very careful, very nice solitary bees, osmia bees. So these are some video I wanted to show you for today. Thank you for coming. So we will stop our video for today. Thank you for watching. Next videos will be coming very soon, or if you are interested to watch previous videos on this stream, so reload this video and you can see it in record mode on my channel. So because this is on a front page video of this day. Next day, tomorrow, will be another videos about insects and maybe about some invertebrates. Hopefully more good news from Kyiv as a safe place, because we have an anti-aircraft system which is protecting us, and our army, Ukrainian army, is also protecting us against crazy aggressors. Really? And our Ukrainian bees also for Ukraine. So, Ukraine forever. Watch my channel, subscribe to my channel, press like, write comments under this video, ask your questions, and you can visit my Patreon page. You can see in the description what means Patreon for some donations. Patreon page for donations, to be patron or donator or just like a supporter of my channel. That's very good. So you can read some stories also on this Patreon page, which is visible under the description of this video. This is for people who enjoy science and how some people in Ukraine in this hard situation, very frustrating situation, say, watch some positive videos, don't become crazy in this wartime. So to be motivated, to be enthusiastic, Ukraine forever. Good luck and see you soon on my channel. Bye-bye. See you soon. Good night and good evening. Or just watching in recording mode. See you soon on my channel. Good luck if you are just Ukraine forever.